Hi guys, sorry it's been a minute since I did a video, but I have been grieving for the last, I'd say about 3 to 4 months. So I haven't really been in the right frame of mind to do a video, but I'm in a better place now, so I'm really happy for that. So I'm in a position to share that experience, and so that's what this video is going to be about. Just me talking about what I've been going through and how I have coped with my loss, and hopefully this might be of some help to some other people or not, but that's fine because it's an opportunity for me to let some steam out and just to express myself on this platform. Once again, I apologise for the colouring of the video, for the sound, for the lack of editing, you know, the mistakes that are not going to be cut out, because this is just going to be a freestyle because I don't have a camera yet, as I've said before, but fingers crossed I will be getting a camera real soon so we can stop all of that nonsense. But yeah, I've had a loss recently and I've been grieving, and some of you might associate loss with someone's death, but for me that loss has really been, you know, that my grieving is for a loss of something, you know, not necessarily a death. So I'm quite fortunate that there hasn't been a death, but it's a loss of something, and I'm grieving that loss because it's no longer a part of me. And you know, I had been in a position where I'd made plans and I had, you know, a mindset ready, and now I'm having to sort of readjust everything that I had planned. You know, I thought this thing was going to be in my life for the foreseeable, and it's not, so I've had to really get to terms with all of that. And I found that I was in a position where I was really, I'm going to say depressed, because I was really down in the dumps. I probably wasn't depressed, but it felt like depression. So now I can understand why most people think they're depressed when they're not, because it does feel like there is no light. It does feel like you can't go on. It does feel like somebody's stepping on your heart. You know, you can't breathe. It's all of that, and it's real. So if you don't know these emotions, then you know you're quite lucky in the sense that you've not had to go through. But for those of you who are experiencing this loss and this grieving process, it's so difficult, and I appreciate that, and I feel you because I've been there. But what this video is me sort of sharing how I've coped with that, and now I'm in a better place. I'm still going through a process, but I'm in a better place. I'm in a place of where I can share. So I went through a period where I was just, you know, not really wanting to talk to friends. You know, would have conversations, but it wouldn't really be what I would normally be doing. It wouldn't normally be our normal conversations. I wouldn't be as cheery as I normally used to be. You know, I didn't really want to hang out. You know, I was quite choosy as to what I wanted to do. It was just a real different me, because my heart wasn't in there. My heart wasn't there. I just found that I spent a lot of time on my own. You know, I normally try and go on like I'm the, you know, the macho woman, you know, that can do me all day, every day, that doesn't really need anybody else. But on this occasion, I was in pieces. I even cried down the phone to a couple of friends, which is so unlike me. And so those of you who know me personally will know that, you know, this is crazy. IJ is normally quite, you know, firm and quite, not firm, but quite, you know, with it, you know, together with it all. But on this occasion I couldn't keep it together. But I'm quite happy that I was able to let loose, because I don't know where I would be right now if I wasn't able to show those emotions to somebody. So I was quite lucky to have good friends around who I could speak to and really express myself the way that felt right at the time. So, you know, during this time I found that one of the things I started doing was writing. Now, you might think this is really strange, but I wasn't writing long things. I was just writing about how I was feeling on the day. And this was mostly on days when I was feeling quite low and quite, you know, quite down. So I'll just write down these emotions and, you know, how, you know, what triggered them off, and you know, and I took a note. I wrote the times and I wrote the dates. So I took a note of the times when I felt really low, and it was mostly in the evenings when I wasn't at university, I wasn't working, I wasn't with family, I was on my own. So this is when it really kicks in, when you're on your own, for me anyway. So I'd write these things down, and I was able to see a pattern. Now I can look back in retrospect and see, look, I can actually see what was going on. I could see when it was kicking in. I could see a change in my writing now, because I'm not writing. My writing has become a little bit lighthearted. You know, it's not so down. It's not so down in the dumps. It's not so low. It's not so. It was quite sad, some of the things I was writing, because I was in a really, really difficult place. So, but now my writing's a little bit more lighthearted, so I can see that things are getting better for me. So that's a way of keeping a track of what's going on with you and expressing yourself. So I did that. I also found that I needed something consistent. I went through a period where I was really, really, you know, it sounds really, really tragic now, but I was really questioning what my whole life was about, because everything I'd planned for myself was crumbling. And so I needed something consistent. I needed something that was not going to change, something I could, you know, really, really hang on to, something that would bring a comfort to me. And for me, that was God. And so I started going to church more. Now for you, it could be something completely different, but what I would say is, whatever it is, try and find it, try and stick to it, because it helps. And it's helped me. It really made me feel like, you know, something, it gave me hope when I felt there was no hope. And it really, really reassured me. I was with people, you know, who were very lovely people, who understood where I was coming from, and who were able to join with me and in a sense walk me through what I was going through, so I didn't feel like as if I was on my own. So that was pretty good for me. I started going to Bible study classes. I started being a little bit more active in church, and while I was always going to church, I became so much more active, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it because it took my time away from that downtime where I would be thinking too much, and where I would be getting sad and working myself up, and, you know, just wanting to stay low all the time. I started, you know, it kind of got me off that stage to where I was actually starting to do something a little bit more positive, that got me that little bit more out of my dark hole, and where I could see a little bit more light. So that was good. And then now I'm at a stage where I'm finding that I've had to start reevaluating my whole self. I've had to start rethinking everything and coming to accept that this loss has happened, and I'm going to have to move on without it, and I'm going to just have to move on. And I've had to start thinking about, what am I going to do with myself for the next couple of years, next week, next few days, because I'm not going to have this thing anymore. I'm going to have to start thinking about things alone. I'm going to have to start doing things alone. I'm going to have to just change my whole routine. So for me, that's a sign of acceptance, because once you start to accept that the loss has happened, and there may or may not be very much you can do about it, but once you start to accept it, you can begin to move on. So I had to go through that acceptance stage, and I'm so glad that I did, and I'm probably still going through it, but it's a process that I think needs to happen, because if you don't accept that the loss has happened, you're not going to be able to move on from it, or it'll be really difficult to move on from it, which is what I think. These are just my thoughts. So I've had to accept things, and I've had to restart planning myself, rediscovering myself, getting to know that I am capable of doing all these things with or without this loss, and I am going to do it. I'm going to be that strong woman that I've always wanted to be, that I am capable of being. So I've started refining myself, doing things alone, doing fun things that I want to do, coming back to do this video, sort of going back to me, going back to basis in a sense, because you do need to, you kind of need to start afresh. Depending on what the loss is, you might need to start afresh, and for me, it's like I'm having to sort of take a few steps back and, in a sense, start again and start doing things, doing me. So I'm doing that at the moment, and I'm so happy that I've got a good friends, I've got a good support network who have been there with me and who have really been able to walk a lot through with me, because the worst thing about grieving something and going through loss is the sense of loneliness. The sense of loneliness, and as much as you might have people around you constantly, there's still the sense of inner loneliness that nobody can feel. And probably that whatever it is that you've lost was the only thing that could fill that void, but now you're having to find something else that's going to occupy that space, or find a way of dealing with that sense of emptiness, but channeling it to be more positive. So that's what I've had to do, and now I'm in a better place. I have to say I'm in a better place. I'm going out with friends, I'm having a laugh, I'm concentrating more, because you know, sometimes you're just thinking so much and you can't, your day is so not productive because you're thinking so much. But that's all coming back to me now. I'm starting to do things the way I used to, and sometimes I'm doing things even better than I used to now. So it hasn't been all bad. And I've really had to sort of rethink the things that worked well in my life, and I've really had to sort of think, you know, I've really got to hone in on these things and grab onto them and perfect them in a sense, because these are the things that I now have, and I have to make use of what I have at the present situation, because I can't go back in time, I can't take things back, I can't change the situation I'm at. I have to deal with what's in the present, so I'm having to do that. And yeah, it's been difficult, and it's been crazy, but I'm so thankful for where I am right now and the position that I'm in to be able to share this with you guys. Anybody out there who's benefiting from it, or if you're not benefiting from it, that's fine, but I'm just so pleased that I'm in the position where I can, you know, look back and I'm making positive progress. But you know, if you are in the position like this and you find that you are in, you know, you're in the dumps, you're down and things are just not looking right, and you know, I have been able to, I'm coming through it. I'm not done with it yet. I'm coming through it. And this is just to let you know that, you know, you can do it too. Although at the moment it might seem like things are just so hard and just so permanent, but no situation is permanent, because I mean, before my loss I thought that was permanent, and now I'm in another situation where I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is permanent, but I've come through that and I'm thinking, okay, this is permanent. So no situation is permanent, and you just have to make the most of whatever you find yourself in and keep strong and find what works for you and stick to it. You know, align yourself with something that's going to be a little bit more permanent, because you don't need any more disruptions, you don't need any more inconsistencies, you don't need any more losses, you don't need any more heartbreak. So find something that's a little bit consistent for you. If it's family, if it's friends, if it's your religion, if it's your studies, whatever it is, find it and, you know, focus on that, because it can help you take your mind away from what's going on at the present situation. So that's me at the moment, but I am back, I am doing more videos, and I'm going to start loading up my videos now. I'm going to start recording again. I've got so much lined up. I don't even know how I'm going to manage to do everything with just my iPhone, but I'm glad I have a medium to communicate, because I'll be going crazy right now. You know, do a video actually if it's going to help, because I'm feeling so much better for having spoken about this. As strange as it might be, and as much as it might not help anybody, I'm finding that it's good to just let out things, because you have so much, sometimes we have so much bottled inside that we don't even realise it until you start speaking, and then you speak for ages. So I'm going to cut this video short now, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you for those who have subscribed. Thank you for those who have viewed my page. Thank you for those who have viewed my videos. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Do leave comments, do leave feedback, do like my videos, and do stay tuned, because I will be back shortly. Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.